Shiv Nadar is one of the premier universities in the country. It's the top 10 private universities as recognized by the government of India, by conferring on them the institution of eminence, which means that essentially the government of India believes that Shiv Nadar University has a prospect of becoming a global university over the next few years, and that is the only reason why they give this institution of eminence to the university. What this tag gives allows the university to do is to it makes it a bit more freer and flexible in terms of international relationships and a lot more other stuff that a typical university would be regulated by the UGC and the AICTE. So that gives the university a lot more freedom for changing pedagogy, changing curriculum, getting into international relationships, getting foreign international professors and academicians to come and talk to you and teach you. The student exchange programs, a lot of flexibility and freedom is given to a institution of eminence. Only 10 universities, private universities in the country have got it, and Shiv Nadar is one of them.
It's essentially an online MBA that we have, which is a 100% online MBA. The genesis of all of this is, of course, we indeed, these are two separate programs. We have not just a classroom, but a fully residential MBA. And it is instrumental for people to know that in the vision of Shiv Nadar University, we are, at least for the next 10 years or so, we are going to be very careful in expanding the student numbers in almost all our programs, including the MBA. So it is our MBA program, intake is is currently at about 60, and it is not likely to go beyond 100 over the next 10 years. Okay, so regardless of the length of the queue in front of our admissions door, we will not expand the program drastically. Because of the COVID, the last couple of years, like every other university, all of our academic transactions have been online. But we are hoping that, in fact, we have just made an announcement that from 11th of March, all of our programs, which are residential and on campus face-to-face, are going back to the pre-COVID mode of face-to-face classes. Now, probably you would, agree with me that one of the, unintended but good consequences of the COVID has been that the online medium, which the world has seen as a very powerful medium to take quality education, make quality education accessible to a large mass of people who need it, especially people who are in the hinterland or maybe away from our city. We are located in Greater Noida, Delhi NCR. We launched the online MBA program in October of last year. Okay, it's a complete, while the curriculum, they obviously in an MBA program, there would be overlaps of curriculum, but it is entirely delivered online, but most of it is live. So it is not your traditional distance mode. It is a program that we do in collaboration with Great Learning. They provide us the essentially the outreach and the platform, but it is entirely our program. And that is also a program to allow people who are not living in Delhi NCR, people who do not have the life conditions to quit their jobs for 2 years and not get paid, but to do this program, and it is targeted largely towards post-experience people. But the on-ground MBA is a fully residential, 24/7 switched-on program, which is really meant for a small number of students at the moment, between 60 to 75. Let me back up a little bit as to what we are trying to do here at the Shiv Nadar University as part of an institution of eminence, status. You would have noticed that the MBA, the name of our business school is called Shiv Nadar, is called School of Management and Entrepreneurship. So, of course, it is coming from the vision of our founder, Shiv Nadar, who is one of the case studies in India about successful entrepreneurship, entrepreneurial leadership that has taken pretty much its place under the sun for Indian entrepreneurs. And it was his vision that he called the school, he was insistent that we have the E for entrepreneurship as part of the name of the school itself. And I am saying this because I think a lot of the answers to what I can anticipate as questions could be coming from, is going to have a direct bearing to this whole issue about what we are trying to do, our curriculum, our pedagogy, the kind of faculty who come and interact with our students. You will see this sutradhar of entrepreneurial leadership running through and through. So what we figured was that there are many entrance exams, right? Like, there is a CAT, there is a ZAT, there is a CMAT, MAT, and so on and so forth. Our internal research suggested that the kind of students who have aspirations to not just be a value seeker, but be a value creator, if not immediately after their MBA or their BMS. We have a terrific undergraduate program as well. Essentially, those who have aspirations to really start their entrepreneurial journey, there seems to be a bigger, there seems to be a better correlation between the GMAT and the NMAT score as opposed to the other ones. Okay. And we felt that given the philosophy of the program, which is where, if you look at the curriculum, and I'm happy to get into the details of which, I mean, you would find that a major focus of the curriculum and the pedagogy is to really kindle the entrepreneurial mindset or the entrepreneurial kind of vision or aspiration of our students. And we felt, and our hypothesis was that no exam tests for entrepreneurial leadership to begin with. So whatever we choose as as a screening criteria, it is basically still going to be imperfect. And we felt that NMAT and GMAT, where people do care about global integration, people do care about creating eventually their own ventures, gave us a better bang for the buck. Number two, as I mentioned initially, that we are really selective. We are going to remain selective, especially for the on-ground residential program. And we didn't have the wherewithal to go and do a carpet bombing across. But it is not that we are saying that if somebody doesn't have a great CAT score or a ZAT score, we are going to turn them away. We are not saying that. And the SMAT is basically for those who, we have also seen there are a lot of, very bright young people who are kind of balk at this onerous expedition of writing the CAT and getting in the top 95 percentile and 99 percentile. So SMAT is more like which, by the way, SMAT is the structure of the exam is very similar to a mix of GMAT and CAT. Okay, it's not that different, unfortunately. That was the idea. So those who have good scores in, especially NMAT, GMAT, or even, while we don't mention it, if somebody has taken CAT and has got a decent score, they are welcome to apply. And those who want to better that by writing the SMAT, they can also write the SMAT. So and we will choose the best. But fundamentally, all of this will be followed by a very incisive interview, which is taken by 3 of our faculty, which includes successful entrepreneurs, industry experts, and so on. So the interview is going to be the make or break. So essentially, the interview is very important for us because the kind of program and the promise that we are working on, it is very important that there is a match between the student's capability, the student's aspiration versus the kind of curriculum and the kind of exposure we are going to give. So essentially, yes, as we have to have a admission test. Part of it is coming from UGC regulations, but then it is followed by an interview, which is fairly detailed and fairly rigorous, and it is going to it is basically the judgment or judgment of the panel, after the interview and the group discussion and other exercises, that would be the final as to who we send out the offer to versus who we don't. So it is perfectly feasible that somebody with a 99%, let's say, CAT score, or a great 1500 or 1450 GMAT score, we actually decide against making an offer versus somebody who has a slightly lower score, but in the interview is judged as far more fitter to benefit from the kind of program that we have to offer. Essentially, the exam score is your ticket to get into the interview.
Okay, it's a pre-qualification in a sense.
A pre-qualification. After you're in the interview, you are all at a level playing field. But in general, the CAT score, we are unlikely to. We are looking at 80, 85 plus. But as I said, that the interview with the panel, which consists of the faculty and some industry leaders and some successful entrepreneurs themselves, is basically the most important after you have qualified for that. The answer is no. I think essentially, yes, indeed, right, that in today's context and in the future that is ahead of us, it is very important that entrepreneurial leadership has to align to digital awareness and digital and technology leverage. And while not all entrepreneurs need to know how to code or how to write the codes, but they need to know how to get the codes written, if not themselves, by someone to get it done. Having said that, it is also a little bit of a commentary on our undergraduate education in the country, that we believe there are lots of smart kids, and I've seen that in Ahmedabad. While they were not in the majority of the students were indeed from STEM background, largely engineering, but there were a handful of people who came in from BCom, and arts background, who did perfectly well and are leading companies, global companies all over the world. And having said that, we also make it a point to teach the foundations of programming and coding and what purpose algorithms serve in driving business applications in business across the center from the early ages. And we are seeing that a lot of people who are coming with non-11, 12 mathematics background are doing quite okay. So I do not think that it is going to be a challenge, especially for those who are willing to take up a challenge. That is, and there's a second thing that is fundamentally important, that the MBA that they will do at Shiv Nadar University is a university MBA, as opposed to a standalone school MBA, let us say, in our typical IIMs or XLRI or other schools which are much older than, much more well known than us. And please be informed that we do have a very solid engineering school. We have a very solid school of humanities and social sciences, and we have a solid school in pure sciences, natural sciences. So once they're on campus, after they're, they have an ecosystem to really, walk, dine, conceive with people who are doing engineering and, other programs, but they might also have an entrepreneurial, vision or a dream eventually in their lives. So the students could actually go, and for those who are, interested, could really dig much deeper into computer science, some of the elements of computer science, CS subjects, elements of technology subjects, and they also have a ready ecosystem to really immerse themselves in, essentially capitalizing on all that they need to do to get themselves a kickstart in their entrepreneurial vision, even if it is not going to be immediately after graduation. Immediately after graduation, people typically would look for a job and they would go. But so it's in short, what I'm saying is that coming back to the non-math students, what is very important is that the attitude to learn, if that is not compromised, there is enough curricular support in the program and around the program, in which people pick up. So we have examples of kids who know how to use Python and Tableau and a lot of these current tools to get their work done. Yes, prior to COVID, we used to, it was a compulsory part of the program. We used to kids would go to Warwick Business School and spend a couple of weeks there. We even had an MOU with Babson where they would go and spend some time, usually 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. But COVID put a wet blanket on all of that because, travel became impossible and so on and so forth. We are hoping that this year onwards, it's going to open up again. So there is a global immersion component of the program. It used to be compulsory. We would love it to be compulsory. From this year onwards, we are hoping that the skies open up for us to do that. So we have MOUs with a set of universities, MOU with a set of consolidators as well, wherein they essentially get an experience of not just visiting a university, but really visiting the ecosystem of the country that they're going with, especially with respect to the business and innovation ecosystem, where they meet some of the industry leaders, they meet the technology hubs, they meet the business hubs, not just meet, but also go experience it. Because we do believe that going forward, especially in the digital world, companies would pretty much have the whole world as their marketplace, and therefore it's important for them to understand international business environment in a much more hands-on way. And we do have it. We are really keeping our fingers crossed that going this year onwards, it's going to be back on the agenda for us. We have a campus which is 286 acres big, okay, and it is by the time the year rolls on, probably will become even bigger because we're looking at expanding the campus as well. In this about 300 acre campus, it is also, we only have about less than 3,000 students, about 2,800 odd. This is across all programs, business school students, engineering school students, humanities and social sciences students, and natural sciences students. We are largely a research university, okay? So we do believe that research is a fundamental engine that drives innovation. And that holds for, the business school and management school as well. We have dormitories which are world class by way of all your basic comforts of your creature comforts are taken care of. In the campus, we have, you think of any kind of food that you want to eat, whether it's South Indian, North Indian, Chinese, continental, etc. We have provisions for all of that. Within the campus, we even have a biodiverse sort of area with wildlife in it, which we have a plan never to build. So this campus is sprawled out. There is more green in the campus than there are buildings. So we will never litter the campus with all kinds of concrete buildings and so on. But the buildings that are there, they are kind of built to promote the cause of research and collaboration and innovation. We have a Dassault Center, which, as you know, it's probably Dassault is a software system, one of the world's leading design software system for product design, 3D design. We have a huge research block where the pure sciences laboratories are there, and then we have a terrific sporting facilities, probably one of the best in the country. We have an indoor sporting complex which has all sports that you can think of. I mean, from squash to basketball to volleyball and indoor badminton courts, etc. We have a golf course, not a full golf course, but a nine-hole golf course. We have riding on campus. We rescued 4 or 5 horses who were very poorly off during the COVID times because their keepers could not afford to feed them. So we rescued them and we brought them onto campus, and we built a space for them. Now students, are learning riding and so on. And it's, a campus with, we have recorded about 165 species of birds that visit the campus during different times of the year. We have probably more than 200 varieties of fauna. We have a school of environmental sciences where there are beautiful trees, etc. On the campus. And I really hope, regardless of how hard I try, I'm pretty certain that when you actually visit the campus, you will be only wowed by what a beautiful, open and learning environment this campus provides for your dreams to be pursued. And what else am I missing? Faculty live on campus. We believe that one should walk to work. So essentially, the agenda of academia or the agenda of business is 24/7 in the campus, because all the deans, myself included, I live on campus. I walk to my office. Everybody's doors are open for students to come in. Students collaborate with faculty to tinker around with their entrepreneurial idea. People even write research papers together. Even undergraduate students of ours have written research papers that have gotten presented in top conferences in the world. So in short, I can tell you that this is, in my view, I have seen a lot of universities in my last 27 years in India. This is the best campus that I have seen. As I once again go back, that our vision is not to fill the campus where people are bumping into each other. And just to give you a sense of what the vision, we are just celebrating our 10th year of existence at Shiv Nadar University. Our fees don't even cover half of how much we spend per students. Once you cross the merit hurdle, then if you do not have the wherewithal to support, currently our MBA fees are a little less than 11, that's about 5 point something per year. If you convince the team that, you do not have the wherewithal to support that, even with a little bit of loan, we are open to making your entire education free. So it is, for people who are coming from economically challenged backgrounds, we are even open to 100% fee waivers to make education at Shiv Nadar University feasible. So yes, we are completely, as I said, like if there's a meritorious students that we think, deserves to study here, ability to, your economic background is not going to be an impediment for you to join. We'll try our best to accommodate, but then, at the same time, we know in India, I don't want to get into the gory details, but we will do our due diligence to do our audit of your ability to pay as well. But yes, scholarship, we invest profusely in scholarship to make sure meritorious students don't have a economic hurdle to prevent them from coming and joining our programs.
So I'll just elaborate on what Dr. Banerjee just said, students. What a need blind policy ensures is that a good student who's meritorious and has crossed all the hurdles is not turned away because he could not afford the fee, right? And so while everyone talks of scholarships, a need blind policy goes much, much beyond that. It's not limited to how many scholarships you have, but is as elastic as it can be to ensure that every student who deserves to be a part of the campus is not turned away for want of money.
Absolutely.
So I always tell the students that when you're selecting a university, if the university has a need blind policy, it has its heart at the right place. in terms of what kind of academics they want to pursue and how they want to impact the education system. So for me, it's a very clear thing that if a university has a need blind policy, it deserves to be successful and prosperous, and you deserve to be a part of that university. So
Absolutely.
it's a recommendation from my side to any one of you that you really.
If you benchmark to all business schools within the country and look at the ROI of what is the starting salary with respect to the cost of the program, opportunity cost included, we are close to sort of like a one-on-one, whatever they invest, over the 2 years are kind of recouped. Now, having said that, there are two kinds. In the past, we've also had people who have joined us on sabbatical from their work. So it's a complex calculation. Those numbers are higher, obviously. Those who've gone back and went into a different track, but the placements have been really good. We have a career we call it CDC, Career Development Cell, which comprise of 26 people currently as we speak, who are responsible for placements. Of course, placements for not just business school, but also engineering school. And, those are the two most placement heavy programs, right? I mean, the two schools, engineering and business, would be the industry facing schools. And they get, we go, one of the things is that our placement process is not, it's very important for students to know that our placement process is not like your typical, more established business schools. I ran IMT Ghaziabad, for instance, for many years, and there are other 4 campuses. I mean, there the number of graduates would be running into hundreds, right? 400, 500 graduates, and you have companies coming in. Here we graduate 40 to 50 over the last 2 years. And usually the placements are more, lateral. The processes are far more individualized, customized to individual student profiles. And the interviews happen much more one-on-one, as opposed to be you are like queued up and a company comes and talks. I mean, that also happens, but it is a different process. But I'm probably anticipating some other questions, that our process is different from the way a typical large enrollment business schools would do. I can also, going beyond MBA, as I told you, we also have a 4-year undergraduate Bachelor of Management Studies program. And we have only graduated 2 batches, but what we are seeing are incredible results there. I mean, I think I can foresee that in the next 5 to 10 years, the undergraduate management students would be as coveted as the BTechs of the world. Largely in India, the only way you could get a job after undergraduate would have been a technology job, right? I mean, BTech. But our BMS, placements are also really, really good. Yeah. By all means, I mean, we all understand that first and foremost, drop here from what? Life moves on, right? I mean, this people are hit by all kinds of force majeure, for which you have to step back and take a break, do something else, or especially in today's world of where people are dreaming. As I was saying, like they have entrepreneurial vision. Somebody may have dropped a year because they tried to build something, didn't work. The way we will see it is that the drop year could actually be the creative year, that you probably learned more by trying something and failing. And there could be people who go through multiple personal conditions and so on and so forth. I mean, the long and short of what I'm saying is that that is precisely why our interview session is something that we take very, very seriously, because that's where the aspirants will have an opportunity to impress upon the team. But if the drop year has been something which has been frivolous, of course, you would have a different reaction. But as a policy, it has no issue with us at all. Like if people were doing something, trying something, didn't work, wants to get back. Human life is more of, it is always, there is always a second chance. And we want to promote that, yeah. Well, I mean, theoretically, policy-wise, absolutely not. But unfortunately, all the classes and the mentorship programs, the workshops and the simulations and the other ventures that he's going to be doing will be taught in English. So as long as he's comprehending, his comprehension, I cannot guarantee that all the courses would be translated into Hindi. But exams, unfortunately, will have to be in English. But you know what? I mean, if he's writing an exam in finance, on capital markets, his finance better be good for us to assess how are things going. I mean, so yeah, I mean, whichever medium you come from, and by the way, there have been terrific examples of replete in the past where people have come from vernacular medium and done very well. But unfortunately, the instruments of assessment, etc., will all be in English. So that we cannot promise a Hindiization. Approximately 50-50. So south of India, I think it is probably because of Shiv's name and what Shiv's equity. We attract a huge population from south of India. And not only among students, but also among faculty, our gender ratio is about 50-50. The answer to the question is depends upon his personal condition. Okay, one is that currently our executive MBA, I'm talking about Shiv Nadar University's executive MBA. There are a huge amount of face-to-face sessions as well. So if he is from areas outside of NCR, executive MBA at Shiv Nadar University is not an option for him. Regular MBA, of course, is a higher investment, right? You have to take a sabbatical from your work. I'm assuming that the employer would probably stop paying salaries for 2 years. So if you add the opportunity cost of that to the fees of the program, it is a deeper and a bigger investment. Okay, so I think it is a judgment that the student will have to take based upon constraints that he or she would know better. And also, if he or she happens to be married, that begins with a family, that has other implications as well. Yeah, so those are the pluses and minuses. But at Shiv Nadar University, as I can tell you, I already explained about the online MBA, fully online MBA, which is 100% online. We also have an MBA executive program. Again, because of the UGC rules, we have to keep a lot of sessions face-to-face. And currently, there are face-to-face classes. For that, it is kind of only available practically to people who are in the Delhi NCR, Greater NCR region. Well, that's the flavor of the season. I mean, I think the scope is very good but depends upon what kind of programs you are taking. For your information, we are launching a Master of Science in Business Analytics. We call it MSBA program this year, and we'll only take no more than 30 students in that. And again, because we felt that we are in a position to launch it because we have a very strong computer science department in the School of Engineering. We will co-create that program. I would advise the gentleman to seriously consider that. because programs of this nature is obviously it's a 2-year, it's a degree program. Number one, there are many certification programs that, especially in the online domain, a lot of these edtech players offer, but they are all certificate programs, but this is going to be fully residential, face-to-face program, MSBA. We target to launch in this year. Classes will start in August. We'll launch the orientation in July. I strongly recommend him to take a look at what we have to offer, because we again believe that it's the curriculum and the kind of application tools that we'll bring into play in the MSBA program is really top of the line. Well, I mean, the generic answer to that is first and foremost, what is expected is for us to understand. You should have the student should have a reasonably clear vision for what they want to do with their lives, not just immediately after graduation, or what you want to become. Give some thought and have some clarity on that. So I'm certain that people would want to see how clear you are and how committed, how authentic you are. Lesser you coach from these other, test prep type of thing. I mean, you can do it, but the point is we are trying to get to the core of what you are. I'm talking to the students as to what is the truth inside you. What is the true you? We believe that every entrepreneurially driven, smart, young person is unique. Everybody has some sense of uniqueness, and we are going to seek to discover that in you. The other traits are pretty generic. One, your attitude. What we will be recruiting for is your attitude, and in that attitude, we are obviously looking for how much you know by way of what you have learned so far in your life's journey, including your academia. And if you are coming from math, we expect you to know a little bit of math. If you are coming from engineering, we expect, electrical engineering, we expect you to know a little bit of the foundations of that. So obviously your academic knowledge, to your awareness in general by way of what's going on around the world, which has direct bearing to business and innovation, especially because you are coming into the business school. The third would be your ability to do hard work. I mean, we believe that there are no shortcuts to success, and our program is, I can guarantee you that our investment has been entirely on world-class rigor, and it's not going to be diluted for your want of your challenge. We'll work with you to surmount your challenge, but we are not going to lower the bars. Okay. Fourth would be your communication skill. That's very important. And by communication skill, I obviously I don't think English speaking alone is good communication. As we took a question about somebody who's from a Hindi medium. Okay, you could come from a different medium, but you should be able to communicate well. And the final thing is that, we are looking for people who have a slightly larger vision in life than their self. You could all aspire to become the CEO of this company or the next co-founder of the next decacorn. But we believe that we stand for, and in fact, Shiv Nadar Foundation, this entire experiment or the investment in Shiv Nadar Foundation in the university is for a social good, for a national good. You may have heard that, Rahul Bajaj passed away, and the top headlines in every story is that beyond a businessman, he had a larger vision. And we would expect especially young people to have a vision of their own lives, which is a little larger than instrumental vision of, oh, I want to make a few $1 million in the next few years. We have specializations in all your standard functions, obviously, finance, marketing, operations, but we also have specializations in digital transformation, and information systems. And we will have specializations in entrepreneurial leadership as well. One thing that I must grab the opportunity to talk about is that what distinguishes our MBA program. So we have a terrific curricular intervention or an immersion called the Business Challenge Practicum. We call it BCP. Okay, where students actually do consulting projects with real companies for 6 to 9 months. Okay, that is a piece where I'm not aware too many MBA programs would allow them to do it. We also have an Atal Incubation Center inside the in the university, wherein about 20 to 24 startups are actually working on scaling up and launching their business worldwide. They also get a chance to work with them to really solve not Mickey Mouse academic problems, but contribute to actually building a business or building a business strategy. So that's that's while we don't call it specialization because it's a part of the compulsory part of the curriculum. That is an experience. Remember, I started saying that our curriculum is about knowing, doing, and being. Okay, there are three elements, and of course, you are going to have the knowledge piece through the structured courses, but the doing piece is vitally important. They should be able to actually translate their academic knowledge into actual business resolution of problems or capitalization on opportunities. The issue about that the students are trying to resolve is that in today's context, they are spoiled for choices, right? There are 3,000 in some research, I was told there are 6,000 MBA programs. Okay, and they are trying to, while I don't expect all of them to be applying to all 6,000, but they're all trying to resolve this conundrum of which program is the best for them. Okay. I would say that, if you take the top 100 MBA programs and look at their curriculum, you would probably find 90% of the curriculum is overlapping. So everybody has the same curriculum. In business language, we call it commodification. Okay, so in today's context, curriculum or the syllabi or all of these program structures have been commodified. So what you are going to learn in MBA school is going to more and less, I'm talking about only the top, let's say top 50. Okay, it's going to be more or less remain constant. You are going to study marketing 1, marketing 2, finance 1, finance 2, OM 1, OM 2, etc., right? Today, you should choose on the basis of how you are going to learn it. Okay, so the competition, not competition, I would say that we believe that the efficacy of a program is not just on what we teach, but how we teach it. Okay, and therefore this pedagogical philosophy. Okay, we are in collaboration with Babson College, for example, which most of you know that they have been the world's #1 university when it comes to entrepreneurial leadership and entrepreneurial curriculum. So they advise us in our pedagogical innovation, in how our faculty and our mentors work with you to translate your knowledge into action. Okay. The second is the faculty. I invite you to get into our website and look at the faculty. All right. Regardless of how impressive a campus is or how impressive the buildings or the flora and the fauna of the campus is, at the end of the day, a university is a place where you go, where you want to get challenged by your faculty and learn from them. So if you look at the faculty man for man in the website, you would find that people have been to the best places. People have taught in the IIM, the top IIMs, and have come and joined this vision to build something of value. People who have gotten their PhDs from top universities. I got mine from Purdue. We have a Duke PhD. We have Urbana-Champaign PhD, etc. If you look at the people who are forming the vision of the school, the advisory council, you have the best, like we have until Shrikant Datar became the dean of Harvard Business School. He was one of my advisors in the school. We have Raghu Sundaram, who is the dean of Stern School of Business in NYU. He sits in the advisory council. Rishikesh Krishnan, who is currently the director of Bangalore, he is part of my advisory council. Pradeep Chintagunta from U Chicago Booth School, he is getting on my advisory council. So if you look at the quality of faculty and the leadership which is leading this institution, it should make it amply clear to you the kind of vision that is going behind this. So that's kind of, I think that's the broad, and of course our vision that you need international exposure. Today, when you're talking about innovation and entrepreneurship, it's not just with Indian market in mind. So, I mean, we want our alumni are spread all over the world, and the kind of network that you have at your disposal, or you will have at your disposal to tap into, has enormous value in the kind of career that's going to unfold in front of you. And lastly, I would say that you pick a business school which is not just going to help you with your first job, but it is going to be a badge that you would wear proudly for the rest of your lives. And if you look at the vision of Shiv Nadar University, which has already been recognized by the government of India as an institution of eminence, we believe that 20, 30 years down the line, 40, by the time you guys grow up, you'll probably live up to 100 years, the way medical sciences are making a progress. We want, you would be proud to wear a badge from where you did your education, even 50, 60 years down the line, and your choice should be determined partially by that as well.
So completely with you. In fact, I would tell the students that, whenever you choose a university, you must remember that it's not just for the placement part of it, but much beyond. And you should be proud of saying that you are an alumni of this particular university. And that's where Shiv Nadar will step in, because one, it's a great university, two, fantastic campus, the learning, because the campus has all kinds of students, not just students of management education. So you learn from pure sciences to life sciences to arts, arts and humanities to engineering sciences. So the interdisciplinary function would really, really help you out. Three, it's an institution of eminence, which means that they are flexible, because of which they actually have fantastic international relationships. Like as Dr. Banerjee talked of Babson's. And most importantly, I keep saying, choose a university when they have their heart at the right place. And Shiv Nadar has that, because the need blind policy is something that I've always, admired of any university, and they've got it. So if you think that you're competent and you deserve to be a part of the university, they'll find a way to ensure that you're a part of the university. Thank you so much, Dr. Banerjee.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Lovely talking to you.